Hello everybody, it is Dandy Dragon bringing once again another community game to y'all. Today we have a 2v2 with me and Xerinium, or Xerinium and I, and we are facing double English. For those who are not yet aware, or are more than likely very aware, English is becoming very notorious for their 2TC build with Abbey of the King, and more so their White Tower Rush. And today we're going to see what they were going to do. Xerinium and I already discussing those two likely options. We're thinking that with double English, you're more likely to see a double. You're going to see a white tower drop more than likely because one player can white tower rush and defend simultaneously, and then the other player can go in and get the white tower on the other opponent. Now, this is a mistake I make right here. Always just bring the scout back just a little bit, because that sucked. Losing two sheep that I was going to use so I could just go across the entire map and try and steal all the sheep. Yeah, that was a mistake. Though I am going to be stealing their sheep in response, because that is what I do. And we do see a heavy food opening from the English, though, yeah, they'll start getting on gold here soon. Joan, of course, just doing Joan things. French doing French things. I actually messed this up, meant to put them on food. I like to do double vills on gold myself. Xerinium over here as Or the Dragon, doing a pretty simple thing. He wants to go out and get a lot of sheep, so he went ahead and just got a mill down, slowing down a little bit, but honestly, Or the Dragon vills are so efficient that even if they're on something like that, they're not horrible. Now, just a bunch of sheep in the open. Once again, I'm just messing up my my sheep grabs. That I should have those. I should have had the other two. I should be 4 sheep richer right now. But you know what? Sometimes we just make those mistakes, and that's okay. Our opponents are going to be getting their sheep pretty easily because they just loop around their own base on that end. And so we're going to be a little sheep starved. But you know what? That happens. That's not an issue. We'll make do. There is berries aplenty. And honestly, there's even some good deer patches. Like right there is pretty safe. Especially like back here. And honestly, not having scouted that out was a mistake on our end. And then, now this does suck for me though. That a lot of my deer are forward, which means I would have to put on a lot of pressure, and against double English is a little difficult, especially if they're going Abbey the King, which we do see Abbey the King plus Council Hall, so they're going to have a very strong opening. Like, Abbey the King is able to put on just as much pressure as a French Knight, as it has Chivalry, and while it does 3-hit kill, a lot of civs are not going to be lucky enough to have all the resources under TC. So as long as you catch it or catch the vills unaware, you're going to be able to get on them pretty quick. Now this is a little surprising. I would have expected the orange player to have this scout already drop off, so that way he doesn't risk these vills going idle. And it's not like we haven't like really gotten our backside at this point, though we did miss him. So there is a little bit of mistakes but all the sheep that he really could have gotten, he's missing. So it's not going to make a huge issue there. Now we do see that our opponents are not on gold at this point for green, meaning that he's wanting to go mass infantry with just like mass spears or mass archers, or a combination of the two, where my earlier scout was able to see 4 vills on gold, and 4 vills for gold for English prior to feudal is 100% a fast castle. There's no reason to have that many vills on gold unless your entire plan is to just rush castle as fast as possible. So from my allies in mind view, I see that he's not on gold, and I did not actually see him yet. I'm going to go check him out. That's what it was. Yeah. So I'm just going to park a scout over here, see if he ends up getting on gold, because if he ends up getting on gold, that means he's going to try to fight me while going castle and not just feudal fight. So I'm getting as much information on green as possible. Sadly, I'm looking around. I see the king come down, so I am going to try and get Joan over here, I believe. I see the archers on him, so I have to pull him back. And there I do see all the vills on gold. So I'm going to have to be pretty careful here. Now, with that coming in, I'm going to have to respond properly. And I'm going to have to time out when the king is going to be getting here. Because as soon as the king starts getting on me, until I get Joan and a knight out, I'm not going to be able to defend it very efficiently. So normally you would want to get your king out right, or your knight right away. And I did not, exactly for this reason. He doesn't want to fight me under TC and against Knight and Joan, so he will back off. I'm going to take the injured Vill, just put it on food, so that way he can't get a free snipe on it later. Seeing that he's going to White Tower rush, I'm assuming he's either going to put it like right here or right here, because that's the only way he can cover both my landmarks, is right there or right there. Right here, he can only get School of Cav, and even then, like, only partially, because the range will get about right there. So I'm actually in a very good position to hold out against a White Tower. Now, he could be cheeky and go all the way around and get the bottom side of my base. And here we do see they're trying to put pressure on me. They want me off of these resources so I can't build knights. If I can't build knights, then I can't stop a tower rush very efficiently. So I'm going to have to just hold my own here a little bit until my opponent can get mass archers. Or the dragon archers can fight English wood armies, that is, very efficiently. And I'm going to go see if I can pull green off of me by getting in some harass. Meanwhile, we're just keeping an eye out for the castle, or the vills coming down for the fast castle. I'm going to put I brought a scout over there to see if they're just going to stay on the gold. And if I see they're just staying there, that means I might be able to get some harass. Now, realizing more than likely if I can slow down the fast castle, we can win this, I'm going to instead peel off of green and start going for orange. Now, I am going to make an assumption here that he's already pulled his vills, as we are on the 17-minute mark. Or not 17, the 7-minute mark. So I'm going to loop these knights back around, concerned that he may already have the resources at this time. Realizing that the army is there, but no vills are, he is not on it yet. So that's going to give me a moment to go keep just an eye out right there, because they are going to have to come down this way to reach me. Now, this point, we do have the 5 archers there, equivalent of 10 for Order of the Dragon military. And we're going to start looking for that English army, and we're going to start putting on some pressure. Sadly, I will lose a Vill there, and he's just going to continue this pressure. And this is where the healing is really good. Normally, you would want to pull a knight out from this position already, due to the fact that that amount of damage is very bad for a knight at this point. But because he is obviously the English, he is able to tank that pretty well. So I'm just going to go ahead and just leave a knight and archer there to make sure I can poke him. I can get back on golds. And now at any point in time, we could start seeing that tower rush coming in. So I'm trying to keep up Vill production. It's a little difficult with the amount of harass I'm getting on top of me. But we're now going to go see if we can scout out those Vills in transit. As we assume the White Tower is coming, we have military there ready to intercept. And I'm going to, with a more mobile army, with Joan having a higher movement speed than a standard infantry unit, and my knights, we will be catching out the Vills. And now the archer blob here definitely beats my allies, but we do see the Vills in transit. We're going to start getting the Vill kills as soon as possible to make sure that they can't get the White Tower down very quickly. And at this point, we need to just start pulling all our military to try and deny this. Because if we can win one fight, then we can stop the White Tower rush. And we already managed to take out 3 or 4 Vills there. So we're going to start getting our military in position and try to get the damage off. Now, my ally realizing that if he can kill these spears, they're not going to be able to kill my knights. I'm going to pull all the military I can up and around and just try to get on the Vills themselves, because the Vills are the only thing that matter here. because if we can kill the Vills, he's not going to be able to make military, and that will just give us the victory. And if we can kill the spearmen, that is going to allow us to... the knights will not die to the archers fast enough that they can kill the knights before the Vills are taken out. So here we are taking out all the Vills before the White Tower can get up, which is basically just a GG at this point. If you are the English, there's nothing you can do at this point. The king, yes, could kill a knight head on, but just 2 or 3 knights with Joan could 100% take out this military. But we don't see a need to waste military at this point. We're just going to pull back, get back a good blob again, and then just push out and beat this. As if once we get just a few knights, this is just going to be over. And at this point, because they haven't surrendered, we're making the assumption that they're going all in still to try and get the keep up and try to just make that work. But you can see that this position is very awkward. They would deny us wood, but I would just move down here. And at this point, they don't have the eco to do much. Look at that, 15 Vills versus, like, even after all the rest, I took 34. So they are definitely behind military-wise, or eco-wise, which is going to allow us to win the military fights, because Orange cannot build an army anymore. So at this point, we're just going to camp the White Tower, do a bunch of damage to it. Now, getting all of the Vil and military kills is going to give Joan a lot of experience there. So I'm just going to be able to age her, or give her the higher age. And at this point, they're going to pull the last of their Vils that they have, and they're just going to try and get it up. And honestly, maybe if they had double the amount of Vils, they would have a chance. But at this point, that will be it. That is going to be the Vils for Orange are just going to be non-existent. At this point, we could just push into his base, get the last 4 Vils, and then this just us taking him on 1v1 or 2v1. So goes to show you, White Tower, it can be very strong if caught unaware. It may even take out players, but if you're just even halfway looking for it with just a little bit of scouting, you're going to be able to catch them out. One English player building army will not beat 2 players building army. So let that be a lesson for all those who just want a White Tower cheese. Well, I hope you all enjoyed, and you will continue to join us for more community games. Y'all take care.